Chapter 58 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. To let Shen Haoxi know about the matter with Heavenly Prison Sect as soon as possible, the butcher in faraway Shaochang in Shuzhou was the key. This person's alias was Zhu Yongshen, and according to Gu Fuzhao, he was the double agent that the Heavenly Prison Sect had placed in Tianji camp. Zhu Yongshen was extremely good at hiding his identity, and even up till the destruction of Heavenly Prison Sect, he had not revealed his identity. In the Heavenly Prison Sect massacre, only Shen Haoxi and Zhu Yongshen survived. Zhu Yongshen once thought about telling Shen Haoxi the truth, but when he saw how readily Shen Haoxi joined the Tianji camp, he was disheartened and didn't dare stay in Tianji camp any longer. And so he escaped by faking his death during a mission. He then went into hiding and became a seemingly ordinary butcher. Zhu Yongshen knew the whole ins and outs of the matter. In Huai's refusal of the monarch, it had been him who told Shen Haoxi everything the day before Shaocheng ascended the throne. What Lin Qingyu has to do was to get this day to happen in advance. The sooner, the better. After Shen Haoxi got the Heavenly Prison Sect's jade plaque, he too had wanted to rush to Zhushao as soon as possible to find its owner. However, Shaocheng refused to let him leave the capital, and the matter was delayed again and again. Lin Qingyu thought about letting Zhang Shiquan bring the butcher to the capital instead. However, Zhu Yongshen was cautious and refused to rush into the capital. Zhu Yongshen was a trained and skilled martial artist, and Zhang Shiquan was but an administrative manager. How could Zhang Shiquan possibly make off with him? Gu Fuzhao said, "Leave it to me, and I will get him to the capital." Lin Qingyu asked, "What are you going to do?" "Naturally, I have my ways." Gu Fuzhao smiled. "I'm not the chief general for nothing. Flex." Lin Qingyu asked, "Oh, aren't you?" Gu Fuzhao woke up as though from a dream. "Ah, it seems I really am chief general for nothing." It was a long journey from the capital to Zhushao. These days, Gu Fuzhao was often called into the palace by the emperor and the empress for various reasons. In addition to the seventh princess, he was also forced to meet with the granddaughter of the prime minister, the daughter of the minister of war, and the niece of the crown princess Herald. In short, all the eligible ladies from every noble family. The residual poison in Gu Fuzhao's body had already been cleared, and he should already be rushing back to Yongliang to preside over the battle. Last time, Gu Fuzhao's defeat of Shixia forced Shixia to retreat and recuperate, to feed the horses and sharpen their weapons. Although Zhao Mingwei was not as ever victorious as Gu Fuzhao, he was also a general. With him stationed on the frontier, Shixia couldn't make any movements for the time being. At this time, the emperor was in no hurry, and he let him stay in the capital for a little longer, determined to settle this major turning point of lifelong importance before his departure. Since Gu Fuzhao was in the capital and in good health, he was of course expected to attend court and discuss politics like the other military officers. His idle days were soon over, and he returned to the nightmare of deep water and scorching fire. Lin Qingyu, busy in the Imperial Medical Office, was forced to divert some of his attention to listen to him blame God and man, pouring out his grievances. In the library, Lin Qingyu shuttled between the bookshelves, putting back the medical books he had read. Gu Fuzhao followed behind him, blindly following suit. Qingyu, I really can't stand it anymore. Lin Qingyu didn't even look at him. What's the matter? This morning, as soon as the rooster crowed, Yan Yan forced me out of bed. What followed was morning court. I had to go to Xinjiang Hall to discuss matters, and I was forced to listen to a bunch of nonsense. Finally, finally we got to lunch, but instead of letting me go back to the mansion for an afternoon nap, the Empress invited me to listen to opera with the Imperial Academy's senior official son's great granddaughter. Even the donkey working in the mill isn't tormented like this. Pained, Gu Fuzhao covered his face with his hands. Middle aged people are already prone to hair loss to begin with. If things go on like this, I will go bald. Although he knew it was useless, Lin Xingyu still gave a token urging. When heaven sends a great responsibility to the people, they must first suffer their minds and wills, labor their muscles and bones, and starve their bodies and skin. This is just the beginning. This book, The Imports of Surgery, should be placed on the top shelf. Unable to reach it, he would need to find a stepladder. Gu Fuzhao took the Imports of Surgery from Lin Qingyu's hand, raised his hand, and put the book in the correct position. I understand the principle behind it, but I just don't want to hear it. Gu Fuzhao, did you just miss an opportunity to lift your wife to place the book in the top shelf? Are you serious? That was a golden freaking opportunity. Hopefully, he realizes it soon. After putting back the books, Lin Qingyu sat down at the table and opened a volume of old medical records and said, Then you can report in sick. Wouldn't that be the crime? Deceiving the emperor? Does it matter? You have done a lot of those already. Gu Fuzhao sat down beside Lin Qingyu and said, Qingyu, I'm not telling you this because I want you to educate me on big truths, nor do I want you to propose a solution. Lin Qingyu was puzzled. Then what do you want? Gu Fuzhao said honestly, I want to be comforted and hugged. Lin Qingyu, ... You definitely won't give me a hug, so please comfort me. Gu Fuzhao lay down on the table, feeling hopeless. I'm really tired. Lin Qingyu looked down. It was nearing curfew, and they were the only ones in the library. Apart from him, no one else could see Gu Fuzhao's salted fish side. General Gu's honor would be preserved. Lin Qingyu really didn't feel much like hugging him, but comforting was still possible. Gu Fuzhao had let his hand lay haphazardly on the table, and Lin Qingyu gently put his hand over it. Gu Fuzhao, who was 30 years old outside but 18 years old inside, opened his eyes slightly. Lin Qingyu felt that Gu Fuzhao's hand gradually stiffened and he couldn't help the corners of his lips from rising up slightly. He said warmly, Just be patient. When our plan is successful, we will have the new emperor reward you with an idle position. You won't need to go to morning court, you won't need to discuss politics, but your salary won't be low. You can sleep as long as you want every day. When you're awake, you'll eat, drink, and enjoy looking at the flowers. You'll play Tao Hu and watch plays. And when you get tired, you'll sleep, alright? Gu Fuzhao, who had been so eloquent just now, only had one word. Alright. Lin Qingyu let go and stroked Gu Fuzhao's hair instead. You won't go bald, don't worry. Before Gu Fuzhao could say anything, Lin Qingyu added, And even if you do, I will find a way to make it grow back. Gu Fuzhao didn't know where to put his hands. Because he didn't want to appear flustered in front of Lin Chingyu, he tried his best to keep it funny and joked. If you can do that, if you somehow find a way to my hometown one day, you will be rich overnight. Faced with the emperor's urgings of marriage, Gu Fuzhao could only perfunctorily shrink and evade. He said that he liked the gentleness of women from the south more than that of luxurious women of the capital. When the empress came out with a few chosen women from the south for him, he then claimed he liked the candidates of the women from the northwest the best. Gu Fuzhao dragged on and on until Zhu Yongxin arrived at the capital. It was the soldiers of the general's mansion who brought Zhu Yongxin into the capital. These soldiers were all extraordinarily skilled and they were loyal to Gu Fuzhao. These were people he could trust. Lin Qingyu and Gu Fuzhao met this butcher who could reserve Shen Haoxi's plan in Lin Qingyu's residence. Zhu Yongxin was in his 30s. His appearance was unremarkable and his sense of presence was extremely low. Ordinary people would immediately forget such a face. Zhu Yongxin was a person who had gone through life and death. Even if he had been forcibly brought to the capital, he was neither arrogant nor humble when facing them. He even laughed out loud. I never expected that I, a humble pig killer, would have a beauty and a general see me off to my death. Not bad, not bad. Death? Gu Fuzhao sat on the large sandalwood chair, his expression indifferent, showing the temperament of one who has always enjoyed ruling over in a high position. Why do you think you will die? Zhu Yongxin said indifferently. The general forced me back to the capital from 1,000 miles away. If it isn't for the Tianji camp, what else could it be? Lin Qingyu said. Given how you're acting, it seems that you are ready to die. Since that is the case, you should have just sacrificed your life for your master when Heavenly Prison Sect was destroyed. What are you running for? Zhu Yongxin's expression changed. How do you know that I am from the Heavenly Prison Sect? Lin Qingyu sneered. Since you hadn't chosen to die, you could have continued to stay in the Tianji camp and wait for the opportunity to take revenge. They say that everyone in the Heavenly Prison Sect was willing to lay down their lives. It seems that wasn't the case. Zhu Yongxin laughed loudly. Even the young master of the Heavenly Prison Sect has joined the Tianji camp. What can I do alone? Gu Fuzhao said. Shen Haoxi didn't defect to the enemy. He simply believed the Crown Princess's words, thinking that the Heavenly Prison Sect was destroyed by enemies from the Jiangdu banding together. He also thought the Crown Prince had saved him. Zhu Yongxin was taken aback. Is this true? I can arrange a meeting between you and Shen Haoxi, Lin Qingyu said. He is now in the Tianji camp and is a shadow guard closely serving the Crown Prince. He can do a lot more things than you can. Zhu Yongxin had wanted to tell Shen Haoxi the truth 3 years ago, and he said without hesitation, All right, I would like to see the young master again and tell him the truth. I will recount everything systematically and in detail. Systematically and in detail? Lin Qingyu sneered. What's the use of telling him the truth? You will tell him that the culprit was the emperor and that the Crown Prince relented and backed out of doing something the Heavenly Prison Sect at the last minute. You know very well the personality of your young master. Given his affection for the crown prince, what would this trifling recounting manage to do? I'm afraid that hearing your so called truth, he would struggle and suffer for a while, but ultimately choose to let go and forgive. He will continue to serve Tianji camp and the crown prince. Gu Fuzhao looked at Lin Qingyu's bright face and sinister smile. A fire was suddenly set burning in his heart. You have to tell Shan Haoxi that all this had nothing to do with the emperor. It was Shao Cheng who took the initiative to sacrifice the lives of all the people in the Heavenly Prison sect to show his loyalty to the emperor and secure him as crown prince. Lin Qingyu leaned down and whispered in Shu Yongshin's ear. That's the real truth. Do you understand? Lin Qingyu's eyes were like bottomless cold pools that could almost drown a person. Zhu Yongshin's pupils gradually became slack and he said meekly, Understood. Very good. Lin Qingyu straightened up and instructed Huan Tang to see Zhu Yongshin out. Gu Fuzhao looked at him with a smile. When did Imperial Physician Lin learn to tamper with the plot? It was worth learning, Lin Qingyu said indifferently. Isn't it simple enough that anyone can do it? Gu Fuzhao had also wondered when he read Ha's refusal of the monarch. In the early parts, Shao Cheng obviously valued the position of crown prince the most. Why did he suddenly turn soft-hearted when it came to the matter of the Heavenly Prison sect when he hadn't even fallen in love with Shan Haoxi yet? Later, he realized that since the author wanted to write a happy ending for them, she naturally couldn't write it out to be a final and uncompromising. She had to make it convenient for Shao Cheng to be whitewashed in the future. Was it intense and deep-seated hatred? It didn't go that far. Didn't Shao Cheng regret it at the end? Wasn't it the emperor who had the Tianji camp carried out? Therefore, there should be no problem for them getting together. Okay, this is something I see a lot in the other BLs too, where I just hate like a freaking assaulter to be the main lead. Like, he does all these bad things to the MC, and MCs almost have like the lowest power. Like, the power imbalance is already too freaking great, and they also have this physical leverage at the freaking top, and they do all these bad things. They abuse, they assault, and they treat them like shit. And one day they wake up like, oh my gosh, I like this person. No, they can't leave me. I love them. And they just flip like a brand new person, and we as an audience have to just accept it. That's why I hate stories where there is a redemption arc for rapists. Especially, like, there are so many I can freaking count. Like Low Tide in Twilight, Jinx, Roses and Champagne. I don't know, Roses and Champagne is like it gives me an ick. Ugh. Whatever. Again, you can come up with multitude of reasons. Like, oh, it's not them. They were tied up. Somebody else did it. Or they had a sorry past. No, they were just trash. They took it out on innocent people. And it's not okay. And we should actually like not glorify and romanticize these kind of characters. There are so many green flag characters. Why not go for them, huh? And green flag character doesn't have to be all noble and stuff too. They can be like Lu Wansheng or our General Gu Fuzhao, who are kind of like, scheming and plotting, but are still nice to their wives. No boundaries. Be respectful. Ugh. Oh gosh. Anyway, those are my 2 cents. But Lin Chingyu didn't clearly understand these routines. He completely blocked this whitewashing point and killed any excuse for Shen Haoshi to grow soft hearted. Lin Chingyu said, I'm going to take a bath. A bath during the day? Gu Fuzhao remembered the scene just now. You were so close to Zhu Yongxin just now. Did you do something to him? I planted a gu on him to prevent him from talking nonsense and disrupting our plans. Lin Chingyu's voice was cold. If Shen Haoshi still won't lay a hand on Shao Cheng after hearing this, then he isn't even worthy of being human. Ooh. I mean, these guys gave Shen Haoshi enough push. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I don't know. I still don't excuse. I mean, yeah, probably Shao Cheng was not completely in control when this whole heavenly prison sect was getting destroyed. But that doesn't excuse his behavior of being a freaking trash boyfriend to Shen Haoshi. He deserves a payback. And since he has this kind of like a greasy look every time he looks at Lin Chingyu, he deserves to die. Simple as that.